The new Ghostbusters movie could be a flop at the domestic box office. There, I said it, and if we're to believe the news that we recently heard about the tracking of this movie, then it could be leading into the direction of a flop, whatever you consider a flop, because according to the Hollywood Reporter, which of course, top trade in Hollywood, they've been around for such a long time, they have a great reputation, so whatever they say, I'm inclined to believe, and I think a lot of people would be inclined to believe as well. And what they're saying is that the new Ghostbusters movie by Sony, being directed by Paul Feig, whatever you want to say, is actually tracking to have an opening weekend in the domestic box office of $40 million to $50 million. Now, this movie, as reported by the Hollywood Reporter, has a possible budget of $154 million. Now, when you think about it, when you first hear $40 million to $50 million domestic box office opening weekend, that doesn't sound too bad. But when you think about it, you have to take into account the budget around the $154 million range. You have to take into account the IP, Ghostbusters, the name Ghostbusters. Almost everyone knows Ghostbusters. I mean, everyone knows the song. It's so iconic. And you also have to take into account release date. When is this coming out? July, summer. That's where the blockbusters are. That's where the big bucks are supposed to be made. And after you take all that into account and you think about $40 to $50 million domestic box office opening weekend, it doesn't sound as good as when you first heard it, because for a movie of this stature, a reboot for an iconic IP in Ghostbusters in the summertime, budget of $154 million, it's supposed to be about $80 to $90 million, and ultimately you're supposed to finish out your run in the domestic box office with a movie like the IP of Ghostbusters more than your budget. But honestly, I don't even think it'll make more than its budget in its domestic box office run. And there are several things to take into account why it wouldn't do that. Word of mouth is definitely one of those things. Word of mouth is definitely gonna affect the second weekend. It might even affect the first weekend, because the first teaser trailer for this new Ghostbusters movie had one of the worst like to dislike ratio in probably YouTube history. Something along the lines of Rebecca Black's Friday. Y'all remember that? But because of the bad reception that the Ghostbusters teaser trailer got, that's why Sony released a new one. They tried to get people to be more happy about it, but it didn't work. So because of all that, I'm thinking that whether it does make $40 to $50 million opening weekend or it makes less than that, it'll significantly have a drop in the second weekend by about 70%, 60% if I'm being nice, just because of the reception this movie is getting. Word of mouth is going to be so big on this movie in terms of how people really feel about it. People are not going to hold back. Look at what happened to the Fantastic Four. People did not hold back. The critics did not hold back. That made no money at all. I think Fox probably lost money on that movie. But when you think about it, when you sit back and actually think about it, in terms of the studio, for the studio, all this negative reception, sure, from afar, may look terrible for the movie. It could actually serve the movie good in the sense that if there is one reason why this movie will make money, it will not be because it is a Ghostbusters movie. It will be because of so many people questioning how bad is the new Ghostbusters movie really? And they want to know just how bad it is, so they go buy a ticket to go see the movie. And after you buy that ticket, it doesn't really matter what you think about it afterwards. You could think, oh, it wasn't actually that bad. Or you could think, wow, that was so terrible. I don't know how that movie got made. Because at the end of the day, Sony, the studio, own you. They got your money, son. They got your $10. So That's if there's any reason why this movie will make money, it'll be because of that. Because people want to know just how bad this movie is. So you should probably comment down below if you think the movie's gonna flop, or if you're liking slash disliking this movie right now. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be looking forward to this movie, specifically in the comments down below. I don't think you're gonna see a lot of comments, but hey, I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. This movie could be a hit, whether it's good or bad. Comment down below.